Hey everybody, my name is Schey. Welcome to Habatat-Now. We've been away for a couple of weeks due to travel and family. It's summer. You're busy, we're busy. It's great to have you all come back. It's going to be a lot of fun as we dive back into these Habatat Zooms and the Habatat-Now virtual presentations. We have lots more geared up for the upcoming weeks because we have a lot of artists doing some crazy things. It's fun just sending newsletters out or emails out to people and asking what the artists are up to, and everybody has something going on. They have a huge installation being created. They have a new body of work ready to go. They're doing a talk here and there, so it's great to keep these things going because a lot of content's out there. Yesterday there was a talk, if you're part of the ACG, by Jeffrey Boughton, who we did a talk with earlier in the year, and it's great to see him getting some traction from getting through NGG and onto other platforms. So we'll keep on keeping on. I'm grateful and honored to have you all with me. So today I have I'm going to pronounce it best I can. Kaja Upelj. Am I right? How'd I do?
That's perfect. Thank
you. Good enough. I did my best. Thank you for joining me today. And so she'll be talking about her life, her work, and her career, but I'm going to take over your screens real quick and go through a little bit of housekeeping. There isn't too much. I can figure out how to share my screen. There it goes. So we continuing on doing these Zooms every single Saturday. If there's content available, if not, I'll let you know, but you're always welcome to join. The International is in its last couple weeks. If you haven't seen Glass 51, it's an amazing display. Come back and see it a second time. Cheryl, I was just talking to you before we started recording, was just there for her second visit, pretending she just won the lottery. I thought it was a great way of exploring the gallery because you can kind of pick out what you'd want when you hit those numbers. So come on in, check it out, and enjoy. Obviously, there's no charge at the door, though we always wanted to charge at the door, but we're not that greedy. So NGG presentations will continue every single beginning of the first of the months. This month we get canceled, so we're going to try to catch up again with Slate Grove when he's ready to do a presentation. He just wasn't ready at that particular time, so we'll catch up with him at another time. And then upcoming September 23rd at the gallery, we have a solo exhibition by two artists, husband and wife, Zora Palova and Stefan Pala. They make incredibly powerful, massive works. They're pushing the limit of the medium, and I recommend you, if you haven't seen their work, see it now during Glass 51 or call them in September and see their actual exhibition. There'll be a lot of really impressive pieces to see. So without further ado, welcome to our family, Kaja. It's great to meet you. It's great to connect finally. We've had some dialogue via email in the past, but more of the story, it's going to be great to learn about you, your career, and your work. As a newer artist in our Habatat family, I'm eager to learn more. So say hello, please.
Hello, everyone, and really thank you for joining me and, Habatat Galleries. I'm truly delighted to be given this opportunity to share more about my artistic journey and career. So hopefully you're going to enjoy it.
Perfect. We'll go ahead and share your screen, Kaja, and we'll get a glimpse into your career. We had 10 of her pieces on display during the International, I think in 2020, that were all sold to the Imagine Museum, and I had a chance to explore her work in person. So with that being said, I'm eager to learn more about her career and have her discuss it today. So feel free to start. Thanks.
First of all, I would like to thank you, Aaron, for this invitation to this artist talk. And I would also like to express my appreciation to Habitat Gallery to support in showcasing my work in exhibitions and events such as today. I'm really happy to be a part of this community of artists and art enthusiasts with whom I share this same interest in glass. So my artistic journey started quite a few years ago. I have completed my BA in Ljubljana in Academy of Fine Arts and Design in 2016. And then in the same year, I continued to do my MA in London in Royal College of Art, where really everything kind of began for me in terms of making the work that I'm most known for today, which is otherworldly bodies that have also been, at Habatat Galleries at some point. So I'm just gonna start and take you with me on this journey. So my entire creative practice emerged from altering the individual experience of glass, exploiting innate characteristics of the material and capturing the essence of the body. The work elicits physical and sensorial touch. this artwork showed these dual properties of warmth and coldness, and their capacity to evoke such contracting sensation challenges the observer and usually leaves them with this uncertain feeling about the very essence of the material composition. And I think my sculpture engaged the audience to connect and interact with them, allowing them to kind of encourage this tactile exploration and allowing them to cradle them in the arm and carry the surface. And I think my observations, of those interactions have led my practice toward unraveling these human behaviors and kind of delving into this complex tapestry of human connections. And catching feeling, this is the word catching feeling that I have made the first time when I tried to capture and convey glass in its most fundamental essence and this impression of fluidity. I have never perceived glass as cold and fragile material, and I think that has greatly impacted on how I wanted my work to be expressed and how I wanted other people to, perceive my work. So I wanted to make the work that embodies warmth and wealth of the emotions, but also that is able to embody my experiences of particular times. So catching feelings is actually a very personal project to me. It's I have made it in my first year of MA in Royal College of Art. And it was the first time that I have moved abroad and lived there for a longer period of time, away from my family, away from my friends. And I remember, oftentimes feeling quite homesick. And I wanted to make sculpture that possessed a delicate intimacy and tenderness and tension that kind of defines our relationship with ourselves and others. So for this particular project, I have drew from the gesture of cupped hands, but then this gesture I then kind of integrated into the work, though in a more abstract and less figurative sense. And, cupped hands are often comprehended as a gesture of caring and giving, and they're often seen as also as a gesture of help and support or a gift to somebody. So I have, for this work, I have taken this gesture and, made the mold exactly off of my own hands, and make the work with which I wanted to express this welcoming feeling and kind of open up to the new surroundings and new people at that time. And I guess that was in a way for me to first make this first interaction with people. And then I remember exhibiting this work for the first time at Christie Gallery in London. And I have to say I was very surprised by the audience and their interaction to the work, because they went right away to touch the surfaces and to hold the object, even though they were placed in the gallery space, which is usually, it's prohibited to do that. But I was very positively surprised, and I enjoyed that I was able to make something where people were no longer afraid of the material and felt very comfortable with it. And I guess this is also how my work, Otherworldly Bodies, kind of developed. They were a continuation of catching feelings, and each work gives presence of something alive, organic and sensual. And I continued to kind of try to interview this gesture into these tactile glass forms, or I try to imitate human body parts that are revealing some kind of human interactions, explore human behaviors and strains of relationships. So I would say that I guess my work is in a way an exploration into the work that I wanted, to be able to express these emotions and kind of capture and transmit these emotions. So I think the material selection for me is quite essential. And also material itself allow me to convey my work into more collaborative spaces. For example, when you're glass blowing, you require a group of individuals to work together, coherently work together. And their work is best when they complement their skills and they work fast and fluently to achieve the results. And I noticed it's quite similar as well in glass casting. You often need help from somebody when it comes to mold making or cold working. So I thought, it's at its most importance for the artist to be able to communicate well with others in order to create the work as envisioned. But most of all, glass at this stage of fluidity, I think it becomes a reflection of an artist. And because it's only shaped either by hand movement or by breath in case of glass blowing, or, when you're making the work, making the mold of the work, you can even leave your, traces of your fingertips and everything, and, glass takes this on. So here I would like to read a quote which I really relate to in terms of my making the work. This is a quote of Peter Sloterdijk, and he says, quote, "Each time the simmering entities drift into the distance, the little artist exits his body to be entirely with the object he has called into existence," unquote. And this is how I perceive my work. As an artist, I'm embedding a portion of myself directly into my work, and they in some way become an extension of myself, and they physically carry traces of my essence. So I would like to say that otherworldly bodies do capture a bit of, capture life, and they show this humanity. And this oscillation of this iridescence and luminous in my work can often perplex viewer, and this understanding of this color phenomena in the back, leaves audience question how it's made and how it happened. But I noticed that oftentimes the essence of the work can be lost due to conversation about the technical side of my work. As I said, my aim as an artist is to highlight the meaning behind the work and explain why it is individual to me. And I draw intensely from my own body and imprints left of social interaction, implicit knowledge, and the environment I belong to. And in that way, I would say it makes me quite vulnerable. And it is a way through which I want to connect with the audience. And I notice that nowadays, vulnerability is often perceived as weakness, and it's something that people hide away. But nonetheless, I think it's something that should be encouraged, because it's the way through which we build really a profound relationship with each other. And that is not to say that I'm not interested in the material. I'm very much interested in the material I work with, its processes, its techniques. And I have been practicing with this material for years now and reinvigorating disciplines, learning about the techniques. But sometimes it happened to me that when I was really focusing on technique itself, I kind of got lost in the process why I actually initially wanted to express with my work. So I learned with understanding, and I guess the fact that I explored the material and techniques so much in the past allowed me to really understand that and kind of put it on the side. And now I see all of those techniques just as a tool to me. And I don't think they're, they can be taught and they're not individual to the artist. Therefore, I want to my work to be received on a more personal level. So from here on, I'm going to kind of jump onto some of the works that have been displayed on my solo exhibition last year that was called Where There's Nothing Else Left, Hold Me Tighter. And in this exhibition, the audience was invited to get an insight into my most valuable and relationship I have with my family. So each of the sculptures was portraying emotional bond with individuals such as my mother, brother, father, my grandmother, and even my partner. So I wanted to take these so-called cold materials and capture these fleeting energies, these emotions that don't really have the form otherwise. So this is the work called Imprint that draws its inspiration from the profound influence that home environment exerted on our understanding of relationships and the formation of our beliefs. So I'd say it works as a statement to the power of our surroundings, you know, how much it affects us and kind of how much it reflects the way in which our homes, where embedded personal experience and memories are, play a very important role in how we shape in who we are. And in this work, you can notice there's an imprint of a hand pushed into this soft glass object and leaving traces. And this work was representing a relationship that I have built with my brother, because I have always very much looked up to him, you know, in his opinions and so on. And then at some point I realized how much it affects how I deal with certain situations and how I, you know, perceive surroundings. This work is called Reminiscing, and it also was also a part of my solo exhibition called Where There's Nothing Else Left, Hold Me Tighter. And an iridescent circle made out of the hot-shaped copper tube is symbolizing this cycle of existence, but is disrupted here by this delicate dry flower hanging in the middle. And the idea behind this work was that it kind of encapsulated the rhythm of life and death, but also this harmonizing circle, harmonious circle also speaks to the enduring love, because here I was trying to kind of capture the emotion of loss and sadness. And it's also the reason why I dedicated this work to my grandmother. So this is one of my latest artworks that I have made this year. It's called 49 centimeters. And the idea of this work is kind of a continuation of the work that you saw on the last slide. I wanted the inner diameter of a circle to be exactly 49 centimeters, because this is the length of my body when I was born. So I wanted here to play with the idea again of life and death, you know, while the circle, the dimension is representing birth, and then these dry flowers on the bottom are kind of symbolizing death and, you know, this circle of life. This is just a close-up of the same work that has been photographed in Cukrarna Gallery in Ljubljana. And this is the work Affinity, also one of my latest work that features this evocative, works evocative of female feature. I was taking these curves that you can, you know, relate with a woman body. And I wanted the work to appear seductive and very gentle, but then also be hidden under this layer of silk. And the work explores the complexity of the feminine experience, trying to navigate these intricacies of familiar bonds, motherhood, and just societal expectations. So as you know, I explore a lot of work and ideas through my own body. And here I was exploring the meaning of being a woman through my own body, which is also a collective of multiple generations. I was putting in a focal point also, in a way, my mother and my grandmother. This is a close-up of the same work. And this is the project that I did exclusively for Design Miami last year. This mirror is called Fig Leaf. For this work, I wanted to intentionally select mirrors. And these new mirrors are encouraging one to reflect, deflect, and direct their otherwise spontaneous relationship with societal world, but with distancing through this colorful lens. And this playfulness of the mirror produce luminous quality reminiscent of another world, or where we challenge these preconceived ideas about how we should live, and also dismiss expectations of others. And you can see the shape of the mirror derives itself from a perfection of a circle. And it kind of adapts to this marble part, which is representing some of the, again, female body parts. And a cutout represents also an acceptance of differences, and the concept of perfection is, is gaining a new meaning. Here was the first time that I have worked with marble. And I intentionally chose to work with marble because I really like the idea of a connection between the materials that I work with and my concept. And, marble as glass, it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of knowledge to work with. And I think that's quite similar when you are building a relationship with somebody. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of patience. So I like that idea behind the work. This is another variation of the mirrors. It's called a voluptuous speech. And I would say that I guess I'm very interested in a way in traditional materials and techniques. As I hold deep appreciation about the history and the narratives they carry. And I notice also that these traditional methods and techniques are often labor-intensive and meticulous, and they demand a profound engagement with the materials. But it also kind of this engagement in terms leads to introspection and allows one to contemplate not only craft, but also the way it's been made and the person who is making it. And I think my interest for such traditional materials comes from my childhood, because my grandfather has taught me the art of sewing, and I always remember really enjoying those hours, sharing the same passion for the material and spending time with somebody that you care about and learn from them. So, sewing acts is as if it's act of repair. But for me, it never was only to bind together the materials, but also bind together generations and not, history and some knowledge. So then I guess with all of working with these materials, I realized that there's something more behind it, because, when you are sharing a passion with the same person, you are building also a very profound relationship. But then also through my presentation, you've noticed that, especially lately, I've been using other materials that I selected for the reason because they are able to carry these strong emotions. Flowers accompanying my work, they indicate rituals evoking the transformative nature of our personal journey. They are expressed, they're expressing an empathy. And also the mirrors that you have seen here are used as a means of the acceptance and reflection on self. And just to conclude the whole story, the essential body of works that I create eloquently portray human being in a very beautiful way, you know, strong in appearance, but then fragile in reality. And yeah, this is everything that I had to share with you today. I'm happy to answer any questions if I'll be able to. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kaja. I'm gonna have you can't stop sharing your screen, and I got a couple questions for you. Once you've done that, it's up on the very top. Just roll. There it is. And the first question is: when looking at the orb work, what is the body of work called with the stone type work?
Sorry, which one do you have in mind?
The
with metal circle?
No, the pearl-like work that is on the floor or by itself, the individual sculptures.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure which one you meant. Should I open it again?
Sure. Oh, sure. Share again. If you scroll all the way up to the top, your most well-known body of work, I guess we call it.
Oh, otherworldly bodies, you mean?
Otherworldly bodies, yes. In that particular work, where does the color come from in the pieces? Is it in the glass? Is it in the refraction? How do they have such a great iridescence?
Yeah, it's the material that I use works amazingly with light and shadows. So it has to do a lot if there is like sunlight directly to them, or if there's a lot of person, and all that playfulness around, you know, allows the material to reflect. And it changes a lot based on the shape of the object. You know, you come to see different colors when there's different kind of shape to it, because it has to deal with the thickness of material. But then it's very funny to see, because if you look at them from the side, you don't see any of the color movement. And I quite like that play, because they seem so simple and so elegant. But then when you come closer, you know, when you get to know them, I guess they show the colors and you get to experience them in a different way.
Yeah, they're quite magical when you see them in person, and they work off each other when multiples are sitting around each other, which I was writing to Charles Shepard, seeing them together really have a great negative, positive, and a refractive appearance to them. Next question. Is it difficult to work? Because we know you have multiple studios. Is it difficult to have multiple studios in your career?
Well, I have until up to a few years ago, I only had the studio in London, which I mentioned before. I worked with 3 other artists. But now I'm mainly focused here. I mean, I do, depending on the project, I do quite run around and work with other companies and all, but you know, it doesn't seem like too difficult. Okay.
Someone asked where you're from.
I'm from Slovenia. I was born in Ljubljana, but then since 2016, I was in London for 7 years straight, and now I'm, you know, going back and forth.
Gotcha. And they're asking also, is diachroic glass used in your work?
Yes, I work with diachroic, yeah.
Gotcha. Very good. So the piece behind you, which is part of a newer series, did that piece have flowers in it in the past, or not this one?
No, this is the one that you saw in the presentation, that it's you know, hang from the ceiling and works with the flowers underneath. I do have some of the otherworldly bodies here.
Yeah, if you'd show us, I'd spotlight you. You can kind of see them.
It's one of the wall pieces. I'm not sure. It depends on the colors how much you see them, but you know,
they're
meant to be hanged, and then they show their color, and they kind of go from purple, blue, and green. But yeah, I guess it always depends on the, you know, on the lighting.
Was that piece a wall-mounted piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. I've never seen this work by you before.
This was the first project that I did, that I put it on the wall, and it was very difficult because they are quite heavy itself, and it took me ages to find a way that, you know, to secure them. But yeah, they worked great at the end.
Well, thank you, Kaja. I appreciate you joining us today and sharing your story. It was great to get a glimpse into your career and your work, and as your career is budding and becoming more and more exciting over time, I can't wait to pay attention and have some more of your work in the gallery to share with our clients here at Habatat. Thank you
Yeah.
again for joining us. And I guess I'll be sending out a newsletter with available work by Kaja very soon. And if you have any interest in talking or continuing the conversation, both Kaja and I are available. Thank you everybody for joining us, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank
Bye,
you so
all.
much. Thank you. Bye.